Okay, so I think we're back for part two. So sorry about that. Sorry about the interruption. Not sure if it was my coffee or if it was something else, but our electricity tripped, and yeah, end of that. So we're back on live for part two, and hopefully I can pick up where I left off. And apologies again for the disruption. So we were talking about the difference between self-regulation and self-control. And so now I want to talk more about self-regulation and what that means and how we can how we do it and how we can help our dogs to self-regulate. So self-regulation, as I mentioned, is the ability to actually be present in the moment and to be aware of our emotions and be able to actually do something, take some action in order to change that emotion so that we don't feel that we have the need to react in a certain way. And that takes practice, and it takes, as I say, awareness of what it is. And it takes, we usually, as humans, we use techniques like mindfulness, techniques like breathing exercises to help us self regulate, to control our vagus nerve. There's all different sorts of exercises we can do to help put the brakes on that reactive emotion, down regulate to a more calm state of being, and then therefore no longer need to react to the situation. So as I say, we as humans learn practices and techniques to help us to down regulate, so that we can be more in control of the situation and ourselves and our own emotions. But what about our dogs? Our dogs don't have the same mindfulness practices and techniques, and they don't perhaps have the same kind of cognitive abilities as we do to change those thoughts, or even have those thought processes. We don't know, but presumably they don't have those same kind of thought processes. So what can we do to help our dogs? Well, firstly, I do believe through observing our dogs that they are able to self-regulate in some form. And that being very often, we see that through calming signals. Now, those of you who know about calming signals, they're things like yawns, lip licks, head turns, blinking of the eyes. Very often we see a shake off, sort of we call it an emotional shake off, when the dogs shake their whole bodies after a stressful experience. It's kind of shaking off all the stress. All of those are actually similar things that we might do to change our emotional state using different techniques. So these are natural, innate abilities of the dog to self-regulate, to self-calm, and self-soothe in certain situations. So we can take note of these. We can allow our dogs and encourage our dogs to show these calming signals, as it were. And I always say, when you see your dog shake off after a stressful situation, I celebrate that, because I realize that the dog is now helping himself to self-regulate. Another way is they start to sniff, or they like to chew something. Some dogs need movement. They need to quickly run or play or do something in order to self-regulate after a stressful situation. So they have the ability, they have an innate ability to self-regulate. So how can we encourage this? I think we can encourage this through co-regulation. And by that, I mean, as I said in the last video, I think I ended off by saying co-regulation is when one being regulates their emotional state depending on another person or being or animal in their presence. So I'm sure you've had that experience where you have felt calm and relaxed after somebody else has walked in and helped you to relax. So you're feeling really uptight or you're anxious. Somebody walks into the room, gives you a really calm hug, does some calm breathing, speaks in a gentle voice. You can feel their calm energy, and so you feel safe in their presence, and you are slowly able to self-regulate yourself down back to that state of calm again. So that's co-regulation, when you're taking the emotional cues off of somebody else in your presence, and you're able to help yourself, make yourself feel safe through their behavior, and therefore are able to self-regulate for yourself. So we can be that for our dogs. So if we can see the signs that our dogs are starting to get anxious or starting to get over aroused, we can then do our own calming techniques, whatever that may be. It may be breathing, it may be muscle relaxation, so just gently shaking it off a little bit, shaking it out, humming, singing, changing your own mental and emotional feeling about the situation will give off the energy to your dog that everything is okay, I feel safe, and you can feel safe too. And then we often see them doing their calming signals. So then they might do a yawn, a nice big stretch out, they might roll, they might start playing, but that is them now moving into that same state of deregulating themselves and self-regulation. So they are actually changing their own emotional state. And this is what I think we really need to aim for when it comes to behavioral challenges. This is how I believe, without using the counter conditioning with food, etc., we can use our innate abilities and our dog's innate abilities to co-regulate and to learn, so our dogs can do some self-regulation through that, because that is how we learn as mammals. That's how we learn self-regulation. And right in the beginning is when you're a baby, you learn to co-regulate with your mum. When you're crying and you're distressed and you're hungry and you're tired, mother picks you up, holds you to her, perhaps rocks you, breathes, sings lullabies to you, etc. She is giving you that emotional state that everything is safe, everything is calm, and the baby then can regulate their nervous system off of yours or off the mother's. And it's the same thing. So that's how we learn, and originally, that's how mammals learn self-regulation, is first through co-regulation. And then once they can do that themselves, they can learn to, do it without necessarily always having somebody else to help them, to support them. So again, with our dogs, I believe it's the same thing. We can initially give them those cues that help them to feel calm and safe so that they can co-regulate with us and then self-regulate themselves. So that's really all I wanted to chat about this morning. I know that there's nobody on live with me now because of this break in transmission, but I would love to hear your comments and your feedback. Either message me, or at a later stage you can write in the Facebook group, perhaps your comments and your thoughts around this. And how do you think you can start to help your dog to self-regulate in different situations? Because I believe that this is really the underlying key of helping our dogs, particularly our sensitive, reactive dogs, in certain situations. So thanks everybody for your time. Thanks for listening. And I hope you have a lovely day. And I'll speak to you again next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, our topic is going to be eco-savvy dog guardianship. So what we can do to play our own parts as dog guardians, to help the planet, and to walk gently together on this earth together. So hope to see you next week again. Thanks again for listening. Bye for now.